Review samples on YouTube. Welcome back, guys. So today we're going to look at proper folder hierarchy, the standard approach, basic approach. Then we're going to look at MVVM approach. Then we're going to look at something to do with clean architecture approach, how to organize files into the folders for these three principles here. So remember to like and subscribe. Remember to hit the notification bell to be notified when new videos land. Remember to share the video. Then starter kits will be in the description section of the application. And let's get right into it. So I'll start by creating a new project here. So we're going to use we're going to use, I think the first two we'll use the WPF application, then the last one I think we'll use an API. I'm not sure, we'll see first. So we'll start with the WPF application, then we'll come here next, then WPF. So we'll say, we'll give the project name. This will be standard approach. Standard approach. Okay, then the solution name will be proper folder hierarchy. HIERARCY, proper folder hierarchy. Okay, I think that's the correct spelling there. If that's not the correct spelling, you do likewise and add the correct spelling there. Okay, so I've selected this location to save my project. So you select where to save your project, then I'll click next. Then it's the usual .NET 8 long-term support. I'm going to switch to .NET 10 very soon. So if you guys are using .NET 9, you can follow along. If you've got .NET 10, follow along. Then right, let's get into it. Then I'll create a project. Then okay, here we are. So we're not going to look into anything to do with the window or the XAML code here, so we're just going to close this off and close that off. But we're going to look at this today. Let me maximize this. Let's see if we can get it all the way there. Okay, so solution, proper folder hierarchy, standard approach. So in the basic WPF project file that I've opened, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. So there's the dependencies, then there's the app.xaml file, then there's the app.xaml C# file. So that is the entry point. Then we've got assembly info here. So okay, that's there. Then we have a main window here. So main window, we've got the XAML here that you can see here. Then we've got the main window C# code behind here. Then we'll come to Solution Explorer. Okay, let me just pin that there. Okay, it has gone back to its normal size. Okay, so we'll leave it open there. So the first thing we're going to do is for your project, sometimes you might want to add fonts. So you might want to add images. Then you might want to add fonts, images, probably sound files, and other types of resources. So the first thing you would do in the standard approach, you would come here and add a new folder. So this folder, we'll call it the resources folder. So in the resources folder, you have a folder for, we'll add another folder for images. So your images will go in this folder. Then in the resources folder, you add another folder. Maybe for example, fonts. Maybe there's some fonts that you would like to work with. Then here we can add maybe some sound files. SOUNDFILES. Let's say audio. AUDI, or maybe you want your application to make a fancy sound, something like that. So this is what your resources folder will look like. So this is where the resources will go. Then what else am I missing? Images, fonts, audio. Okay, so in the resources folder, okay, anyway, so that's what would go there. Then we would come to the project folder here. So in the project folder, we'll add something like this. So we'll have two types of folders. So in here, maybe we'll add the folder like this and say user control folder. So it's a USER, user CONTR, or user controls folder, FOLDER, will come here. Then we'll add that there. Then another folder which might want to add could be probably services folder. So here we'll add a folder called services. So SERVICES. So in the services folder, that's where maybe things would go like you want to make a request to the back end of the system. Could be an online database, it could be a local database, it could be even a small database like SQLite database, or it could be a SQL Server database that you want to communicate with. So all those services will come in here. So let's come into user controls folder. So user controls folder, this is the main window. So the main window will mimic a hub. Okay, so we'll call this MAINHUB for mimic a hub here. So in the hub here you have maybe the controls that you want to load into the hub. So the first control maybe you might want to add will come here. Then we'll say user control. So the first control we want to add is maybe user control. So we'll do this. Then we'll say UC underscore DASHBOARD. You would want to add the dashboard. So the user control for the dashboard will go there. So that's the dashboard there. Let's give it a background BSEK, background of white. No, white here, white please. Okay, let's see. Okay, white. So that would be the dashboard there. Then we'll add maybe registry. There's a control for registry. And then we'll come here. Then we'll say like UC underscore. Then we'll say REGISTRY, user control registry. Then we'll add that there. Just wait for that to load. Okay, so there's our registry. Come to dashboard. Let's copy this background here. So everything to do with the dashboard features will come here. Then everything to do with the registry features will come here on the XML layer and the code behind. Then we'll add another one, registry. Maybe we'll say, just to save time, maybe we'll add this one. So we'll say resource dictionary. So say SETTINGS. So settings. So we'll say UC underscore settings. Then we'll add that there. So settings will be like, maybe we've got buttons here that will call the user controls from the main window hub. You have buttons here that will call the user controls. Then those buttons at the bottom here, you have like a settings button and something like that, kind of like this. Okay, we'll wait for that to load. So let's get back to what we're doing. So in our user control folder, we've got the dashboard, user control, the registry, and the settings there. Something wrong with the settings. There's a file missing. Okay, let me do this. Let me delete that one. Okay, so we'll come here, then add, then user control. Okay, user control, then we'll say UC underscore SETTINGS. So that's the user control in WPF. Then we'll add that. Then okay, so it comes with that. Then we'll do this just to make it more interesting. I'll give the background that color. Then that's the folder which we use to organize our user controls there. The XAML layer of the application and the code behind will be in this folder section here. The services folder. So in the okay, just hold on. So let me just log into this one, work in progress. So this would be like the hub here. Then you'd have something like mouse has stopped working. Just connect that back. Then you have something like the dashboard, region, business type, communications, and settings. So it would come to, okay, there's no settings there. There's communication. So you would load the user control for communication functions. Then you'd load the user control for button function, region function, then dashboard function. Then okay, let's just minimize that. Then let's get back. Then in services folder, this is what you're going to. This is what you'd probably add. So the first thing you'd add in the services folder. The first thing you'd add in the services folder is probably a class file. So this would be like a. We'll name this services, services, services. So here we'll say just underscore that, db underscore that again, connector. So db connector, so add that there. So this would be your db connector that will go and connect to an online database. So you'd want to maybe access the db connector in the code behind here probably, and things like that. So what you would do is make this class, it's an internal class, so make this class public. You would make this class public. Then you would access it as at an object layer level and the thing like that. So probably you want to access the DB connector, you want to load some maybe telemetry from the database. So in your dashboard there, you would come to your dashboard thing, code behind there, then click that. Then you want to initialize that database. So here the first thing you would do is this. Just hold on. services services DB connector. Okay, so we'll call it connector. So just call it that. Then we initialize that connector here. Then voila, you would call this services connector from the code behind here. Like this, then it will get initialized. Then from there you would probably permeate into the class file and request data to be loaded from the database, or depending on which database you have programmed into the class file here, and we'll just save that there. Then in the services folder we'll come and put the DB connector. So we'll come and put repository pattern. Okay, we'll come and put repository pattern. So repository pattern will be maybe repository repository pattern, PATTERN, repository pattern. Then we'll underscore that. Then we'll say LOGIN underscore that MENU, login menu. For the login menu, then we'll add. Then all the repository pattern code will go here. So in the internal class, we'll just do this. We'll say PUBLIC public. Then in here, we can, I think, make a call to, just hold on. I think we can make a call to the services DB connector. So we can probably come and do something like this. So this is just for demonstration purposes. Services underscore DB underscore connector. Then we'll say dbconnector, the connector. Then I'll close that. It's not initializing. Okay, so there we are. So that's our db connector. Then in this section here, we'll probably come and do something like this. Small letter dbc. Okay, I don't know, that is not okay. That is not propagating. So the best way to go about this one is to maybe probably you would make it a static file. So we'll just leave that there for now, but you get the point as to what I'm trying to get at here. So this would be the repository pattern. So this repository pattern will just focus on login menu functions. Then it will get connection from the DB connector file there in the services. Then services, another thing that would add is, so maybe we'll add the repository pattern. Repository PATTERN, repository pattern, then say underscore DASHPOARD dashboard. So this repository pattern will be will be responsible for all functionality that is due to the dashboard layer of the application here. Then let's see, CTOR. Okay, so constructor. So let's see, constructor SER services DB connector. Okay, so that is how we access the DB connector. So I guess for this one, I'm supposed to add the constructor CTOR and thing like that. Okay, so then that one, that would be the same thing. So on comment that, then let's see, perhaps it's too far away, so we can put that there. Okay, then in here we'll say DB, that DB connector. Then this will initialize a new version of the DB connector. So we're going to access this at an object layer. So sometimes that DB connector, you may want to make it a static file. So public maybe static public static class. So everything that is inside here will be accessed statically. So here simply what you would do is let me just zone this out. Then you would simply do this SER services DB connector. Then let's go to the DB connector. So the DB connector, so static method, probably static class PRIVAT. Okay, private. So private will say LOGIN, private login, PROCESS, private login process. Then do parentheses. So parentheses, and then everything will come in there. So this will be a private, let me say STATIC, private static method. Method must have, okay, it here also. Okay, it's doing something else, but we can access this private static string. Okay, so we can get rid of that. So private static string, so make this public. The access modifier will make it public. Okay, so there we are. Then now return. Now what is it doing? Let's see, str. Okay, so that is static, so we can access this statically. So we can come here now, so the DB services connector, then we can do this, then we can access that login process. So we've done that from a static point of view and thing like that. So let's go on. So in the services folder, we have a repository pattern for login dashboard, then a repository pattern for, I guess, registry. So this will do with all the registry related requests from the database. Everything will be here. Then the access modifier is not internal. This access modifier will be public, like that. So these are just some of the services you'd want to add into the services folder here. Then these are some of the user controls you don't add to the user control folder here. Then these are some of the resources you don't add to the resources folder, like audio, fonts, images, and so forth and so on. So this is the standard approach, basic approach. So let's move on. We'll save everything here. So let's look at how we would do this in an MVVM approach. So let's say we'll come here, then we'll say add new project. Oh dear, that is taking time to load. Okay, so select a WPF application. So WPF applications are MMVM dynamic at the core, but sometimes when I'm creating my own personal projects, I don't worry too much about using the MMVM approach, but it's still a very necessary and very functional method way of doing thing, managing thing, the folder hierarchy in your project and things like that. So this one will be called MMVM, APPROACH, MMVM approach. Oh no, not MMVM, MVVM. MVVM approach. Then we'll say next. Then yeah, I'm selecting .NET 8. So you select the .NET that you have. You probably have 9 or 10. Then we'll create this. Okay, so for the hierarchy in the MMVM approach, will be similar to this one. We'll have we'll have a new folder for resources. Okay, I think there's a typo in the spelling there. So then we'll have the resource folder. Then we'll have another folder services folder. Then we'll have another folder. This will be the MODELS models folder. Then models folder, yes, folder. Okay, so models folder. Then views, we'll have a views folder. So we'll call it VIEWS views folder. Then views folder will have another folder. So this folder will be called VIEW view MODELS view models FOLDER view models folder. So that is MVVM approach. So models folder will have something like this. So in the models folder we'll add something like this. It's a class. So this class will be, maybe we can call it LOGIN. We'll call it the login class, and can add that there. So in the login, with the access modifier, we'll make it public. So we'll make that public there. So public. Then here we'll have maybe string string name. Then we'll have this get set. Okay, good. So this would be a public string public string. Then to get rid of those squiggly lines, you simply just add this. So now make that nullable. So we'll come and save that. So that's a model there. So login. Okay, let me just copy this. Okay, let me just get rid of this for good practice purposes. We'll come and do this. So in the modules folder, we'll add the class file. So the class file, we'll call it LOGIN login model. So the access modifier will make it public. Okay, then we'll paste those things in. So this is now, yeah. Okay, can go with that one. So if we select this here, then we can get rid of sorry, okay, we'll just leave that there. So we're moving on. So we've got the login model. Then here maybe we can have another model, the class. So this one we'll call it the dashboard. Dashboard model. So it have a set of properties that will be related to the dashboard. Then the access modifier will just be basically public. So so that to be able to access those variables inside the model there. Then okay, so if we have a login model, then we go to dashboard model. Then we can have a SIGN UP sign up USERS MODEL, right? So sign up users model. So have that one there. So just the usual public, just make the access modifier public. Okay, so the usual, then we'll save that there. Then okay, so we have a dashboard model, login model, sign up users model. So that will go in the modules folder there. Then resources will come here. So resources will be like images, no folder. fonts, fonts, and so forth and so on. Those will go in the resources folder. Then services will have the same thing here, like this. So I guess we can copy this just to save time. So we can add those there, services. Then view modules, we're going to do this. So we'll say login, VIEW, view MODEL, login view model. So we'll add that there. So just hold on, let's do this. Then we'll add another view model. So because of this one, call it DASHBOARD. Call this a dashboard view model. The dashboard view model. So we'll add that one there. Then we'll add another view model. So here, this one, we'll call this one. So here we'll call this one sign up users view model. Sign up users. Sign up users view model. So we'll add that there. Then we'll have like the views now. So the views are now what would be user controls folder. So we'll get this user controls folder. So the user controls folder will come and okay, we'll come and copy that just to save time. Then we'll come and add that in the views folder. Then we'll paste that there. So the views, this is now the front end. So like, remember like what I was saying. So this would be a hub, just like this one here. Then this would be the main window. So this would be the main view. Then the user controls will be the user control views in the application. So user controls folder. So this one will just do this. We'll rename it user controls VIEWS. Not those views. Okay. Then we'll do that. User control dashboard view. So just rename that. Dashboard VIEW. So those renames should take effect. Registry. So we can underscore that here. VIEW. For example purposes. Okay. Then user control settings view. Rename that. Underscore VIEW view. Then we'll enter that there. Then models, view models folder. I think there should be one more folder. Okay, so view models, user controls folder. So that's the user controls views which we have there. So I've already keyed that in there, and thing like that. Just put this here. Okay, so I guess that would be it for the MMVM approach. So how this would work, let's look at this in detail. So services, then view models, then we have the views. So views, how this would work is like this. In the MMVM approach, when you have the dashboard view here, oh dear, let me see. Okay, I think I was supposed to clean. Okay, so those errors shouldn't. Okay, yeah, all right. So those errors shouldn't think. So we've got the dashboard view here in the views section. So the dashboard views, there's a dashboard view code behind. Okay. Let's hold on. standard approach. So the namespace will be MVM approach. Okay, let me just do this and copy that quick. Okay, then I'll do the same for here. Okay, then I'll do the same for here. Okay. No. Oh, okay. Let's save everything. Oh, okay. Okay, the class file is a static. We turned it into a static object, so I can just zone these out for now. Okay, all right. So yeah, so let's dive into this. So views, how the views would work. Just close all these windows. Close all tabs. Okay, so we'll start with the dashboard view here. So the dashboard view has got the code behind. So this is the code behind here. Okay, MVM approach. Let me just sort this out real quick. Okay. And okay, so that one there. Okay, so I'll just save that. Then okay, it should propagate. Just copy this. Then here, okay, right, so everything will propagate on its own, no problem. So let's just close all these. Okay, so I've closed all tabs. So we've come to the dashboard. This is the XML layer of the dashboard. Then there's the code behind for the dashboard here. So let me just do that. Then that. Okay, so this does not exist in current context or model. Okay, it's nothing to worry about. So like I was saying, this is the code behind. Now how the code behind works is in MMVM, we're not going to reference this code behind here in the XML layer of the application. In the XML layer of the application, what we're going to do is the class which is views. Okay, so I'll go the code behind. Okay, just hold on. Okay, all right, so lots of errors. Okay, just one moment, let me just clean up the code real quick. I'll be back. Okay, and we're back. So like I was saying, so how the MMVM approach works is you've got the dashboard view here. Let me just close all these. So I've got the dashboard view here. So this is the dashboard view, then this is the code behind. Then what we're going to do is in the code behind, we're going to do this. We're going to do a binding. This will be a binding binding context here. Okay, all right. Okay, MVVM approach. Just hold on. Okay, so binding provides high-level access to definition binding, which connects the properties of binding target objects, WPF elements, and any data source, for example, database, XAML file, or any object that contains the data. Okay, binding. Let's see. Okay, we're back. All right, okay, sorry. I think I was being bitten by a mosquito on my leg. Okay, so let us continue. So, so like as I was saying, so we don't necessarily use the code behind in the MMVM approach. We don't use the code behind for the front end of the view here. We go and reference the code behind from the, so this is the dashboard, so we'll say the dashboard view model. So reference the dashboard view model like this. Dashboard view model. So this will be, okay, dashboard view model. Then new dashboard view model like that. Then we'll say data context. So data context, we'll come and do this. Then DSH, then dashboard view model. So complete that. So that is how that would work in the MMVM approach. So this would be the same for the registry view. In the registry view, we'll reference the registry view model if there's a registry view model there, settings view model, so forth and so on. Then we've got a login view model. Then login view model, that would be the main window here. So the main window would do the same here. So in the main window, we'll simply just come here and do this, login, login view model. So login view model there, then we'll say data, data context, then data context, then we'll say login view model, then we'll reference that. Then everything in here then everything in this code, in this view model, will be accessed through that. So maybe, for example, you'll come, this is the initialization section, then you'll say private login, login, private login method. Then we'll do that, then that, then in there private login method, then would come, no, not there. Let's see. I'm a bit rusty at some of these things. Guess I haven't used this in a while. Okay, so but basically that's the MMVM approach. So we avoid utilizing, we avoid cluttering this layer of the code behind with code. So all the clutter in the code will go to this layer here in the login view model here. So this is all the clutter will come in, and just make this a public access modifier there. Then okay, one moment, I'll be back. Sorry, the mosquito again was biting my feet. So like I was saying, all the code behind for the login view model does not go in the main window layer here. All the code behind goes into the login view model here. So we keep this layer of the core, this layer clutter free of code. Everything goes into this layer here, and thing like that. Then can save. And what else is next? Okay, so part 2, this is how you would structure everything for MMVM. This is the folder hierarchy that you'd use for MMVM approach here, and thing like that. Then we've got the standard approach here. The next thing we're going to look at is how does this one work? Okay, clean architecture approach. So add another project, add an existing we'll create a new project, sorry. So a new project. Now this one, clean architecture, I'm going to show you how the folder hierarchy would work in API. Okay, so we'll select an API and we'll click next. I hope I'm not overstepping my boundaries here by using showing how clean architecture works with an API. So let's do it here. So say CLEAN, clean, ARCHITECTURE. So clean architecture. So next. So okay, .NET 8 long-term support, authentication type, none. We're just doing folder hierarchy. Container OS, we're just doing folder hierarchy. Container build type, we're just doing folder hierarchy. Enable open API support. Do not use top-level statements. Use controllers and list in .NET Aspire orchestration. Okay, let's leave it like that. We're just doing folder hierarchy. So we'll create. Okay, let me just check how long the video is running. Okay, so we're going to look at how clean architecture will work in the folder hierarchy for clean architecture in an API. So just close all this. So I don't want to have the hiccup that we had last time. So here we've got connected services, dependencies, we've got properties, launch settings, app settings, clean architecture, then we've got program file, then weather focus. So weather focus, this should be model. What is it doing here? Okay, all right, so nonetheless, so let's get into it. So clean architecture, we're first going to create the models folder. So we'll come here, then we'll add a new folder, so we'll call it models. Now in mod, okay, so models folder. So now what we're going to do is move this into the models folder there, and we'll click OK. Then yes, okay, so that has propagated there. So models folder, then we can come and add another class file. So here we'll say maybe like login login model. Okay, so I'll say login module. Then we can come and add another class file. So this one will say dashboard module. Okay, so okay, so the models. Okay, so we'll see how this will work. Okay, so we've got the modules. Then in the modules folder, I'm going to add this, a new folder. So this folder could be called interface interface. So here we'll add an interface there. So we'll call this. So we'll call this login interface. No, let me delete that, sorry. login underscore interface login interface. Okay, then we'll have another class file. So this won't be that class file, this will be interface. So this one now will be for the modules dashboard underscore interface. So add that there. Then we'll add for the weather forecast also. The forecast interface, so add that there. So what the interface is actually going to do is help to loosely structure or loosely tie the code end of the file with it makes things loose and much easier basically for unit testing when you come and add the interfaces there. So that is what the folder structure probably will look in the models folder. So we'll go and add another folder again for clean architecture. Then so this will be new folder. Let's see. Models code, user controls, control interface folder. Okay, so here we'll have the repository repository pattern underscore folder. repository pattern control folder. So in the repository pattern, we'll add a class. So this will be db connector. Then here we'll add the folder. So new folder, that will be interface interface. No, just hold on, no, not interface. Interface repository. So interface repository. So that will add so interface underscore db connector. Okay, so that will be the interface for that one. Then this is the repository pattern folder. Okay, okay, so in this folder, I guess we can have another folder. We could call it db folder, db folder. So in the db folder, you will have let me just do this. Then let me do this. Okay, so repository pattern. So here we have the so here you have something like the login pattern. Then here we'll add the dashboard pattern, for example there. Then we'll create an interface for this dashboard pattern. So come and say I name this one db, interface db. Then we'll have another one here. So interface pattern. So interface pattern, so we'll have dashboard interface. Oops. Okay, so come here, then we'll see dashboard underscore interface, then we'll add that there. Then we'll add also an interface for login. underscore interface. Okay, all right, so we've got those there. Then that is in the repository pattern folder. Then we come to the DB folder. So the DB folder, we have the interface for the DB connector. So this will be like the main one. So this one is the one, maybe you come here when you, okay, these haven't propagated. Okay, I think it's because I don't have any access to the internet right now, so these haven't propagated. But nonetheless, when you configure the dependency injection here, so dependency injection, how that would work is you'd have a reference for this DB connector and this interface. Then there will be another layer where you'll be able to swap out other types of DB connections through this DB connector and the DB connector's interface there in this layer here. And this was just to give you an insight. So let me just close that one. Okay, so now in the DB folder, we're going to do this. So in the DB folder, we'll add a class file. So it's a database file that will connect specifically to an online database platform like Superbase DB. So add that there. Then we'll have an interface. And we'll say SUPA BASE DB underscore. Okay, so like what will happen, like I was saying in this layer here, so when you reference this interface for this DB connector, so what will happen is you feed this interface into that interface, then this interface will reference this one here. Then if you've got another, let me see if I can, let me just close that, let me come back to this. So DB folder, so we add another class file. So this class file will focus on connecting to, okay, SQLite DB. Okay, so add something like that, SQLite DB. Then in the interface here, come and add an interface for the SQLite DB. SQLite DB interface, so we'll add that there. So like I was saying, is you reference this interface with this interface, then you can move out this interface. Okay. Then you can move out this interface, like you remove the Superbase interface, then you replace it with the SQLite DB interface in the reference when you are doing dependency injection in this layer here in the program C# files of the API, like that. So this just to give like a rough insight. Let me add some more databases. Okay, let me just add 2 more. So we'll have MongoDB, okay. Then we'll add a class file. Then here we'll say MONGO MongoDB underscore interface MongoDB. Then we'll add another one, Firebase DB. So add that one. Then we'll add an interface for the Firebase DB. Then that will come here, class. Then an interface there. Oh there. Which one is it? This one? I think we can rename that one. database DB interface. There. Then we are renaming, yes please, of course. Then okay, so this would be how clean architecture would work in an API there. So there will be each folder will have the main files plus the interfaces. The modules will have the main files plus the interfaces. The repository pattern will have the interface there plus the dashboard repository patterns there will have their own interface and the main files there. So this makes things clean, and it makes the project loosely connected and makes it easy to do unit tests when you're doing unit tests there. Then also for the database part, the advantage is the main advantage is, like, if you have the interface DB connector, you can swap out the DB connector for a Firebase DB connector. You can swap out the Firebase DB connector for a MongoDB connector. Then you can swap out the MongoDB connector for an SQLite DB connector or a Superbase DB connector through this interface when you come and set up things using dependency injection in this layer of the application. So this is just a rough insight and view, especially from a clean architecture point of view. So this is just a rough insight and view into how clean architecture would the folder hierarchy in clean architecture would be like that for an API. Then there's also clean architecture for just the front end of an application, just a basic WPF application. So that one would involve the views front end UI folder, then you have the modules folder, then you have objects in the modules folder, then you have the interfaces, then you have view modules folder, then code for the view models in the view models folder, then you have the interface code for the views in the interface folder, then you have user controls folder, then you have dashboard view model, registry view model, then user controls interface folder, you have the dashboard interface and registry interface. This would be like for the front end. Then there's also another principle called vertical slice architecture. So if you like to see how that one works, give this video some likes, and I will see into making something for vertical slice architecture. So this is just an insight into how folder hierarchy works from a standard approach, MMVM approach, and clean architecture approach. So thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when new videos land. This has been Review Samples End on YouTube, and yeah, thanks for watching.